Believe in Me. And the very latest news from the Guns N' Roses camp is that the band have been rehearsing recently with former Ozzy Osbourne guitarist Zakk Wylde. The Gunners are slowly but surely getting back together to start songwriting for their next album, which could see release by the end of the year, if all goes according to plan. Meanwhile, guitarist Slash is very much in the spotlight at the moment with his Snakepit project. As previously reported, his band comprises of former Guns six-stringer Gilby Clarke, Alice in Chains bassist Mike Inez, Guns drummer Matt Sorum, and former Jellyfish axeman Eric Dover on lead vocals. Earlier this month, Slash's Snakepit released their debut album, It's 5 O'Clock Somewhere, and we took the opportunity to talk to Slash about the new record and the state of play with Guns N' Roses.
The band was put together, it was very haphazard, sort of just, you know, first it was Matt and I just jamming, then Gilby came down, he brought a couple songs with him, we wrote a song together, and then Mike Inez just was like, we need a bass player, because I'm a lousy bass player, and that's what I was using as a bass line was, for all the songs, was my own bass playing, and so we thought, well, who can we get to play bass? And I thought, Mike, that guy from Alice in Chains, and so it just sort of fell into place.
The next step was selecting the vocalist, with former Jellyfish guitarist Eric Dover landing the job.
I was playing with Mark Dan Sizen from Gilby's band and found out about the audition. So that was the 41st guy to audition. I didn't know that at the time.
I just wanted something raw and raspy and energetic and fresh.
Yeah, he hasn't even heard a Jellyfish record yet, so we're going to go to the, the store and buy one.
Yeah.
But it was easy for me just because I grew up playing rock and roll, so I loved being a part of Jellyfish. That's just another side of me.
Every band has to have a name, and Slash's studio was the source of inspiration.
When the time came that I realized we actually had a band, I was like, well, what are we going to call it? Just joking around, sort of sitting in the studio, hanging out with a couple beers or whatever. And I just thought, well, Snakepit, that'll work. And never heard anybody else use it, so that was what we called it.
And hanging around in an airport bar gave Slash the album's title.
When Guns N' Roses was playing on its way to Donington, I went to the bar and I go, I know it's only 10 o'clock, but give me a double Jack and Coke. And he goes, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, pal. And I never forgot that. It was like a whole new lease on life. Because it just doesn't have to do with just alcohol or anything like that. It just has to do with how you deal with the pressures of everyday life, and keeping from stressing out. It's like, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's cool. Everything's cool.
That cool feeling was captured in the video for the album's lead single, Beggars and Hangers On, which was shot in downtown Los Angeles.
We just found a small seedy nightclub in LA somewhere and played kind of like in a club setting, and had versions of what, our perceptions of Beggars and Hangers-On, what they would be like, or the extreme versions. In LA, it wasn't too hard to find. So that's basically the gist of it.
And so we created an audience out of what we considered our version of Beggars and Hangers-On, and then we just went and played to them, basically.
5 O'Clock Somewhere was recorded, mixed and mastered in 26 days, capturing a raw musical energy that Slash has recently failed to find with Guns N' Roses.
It was really a fun project, so it wasn't like we sat there and overanalyzed anything. As long as we were having a good time and enjoying each other's company as a group, then we didn't really give a shit what anybody would think when it was finished, Everybody respects each other as people in this group, and there is no real main attraction in the band other than the band itself.
The rift between the members of Guns N' Roses became evident last June when Axl Rose fired Gilby Clarke from the band. it was a decision Slash played no part in. And when Slash put forward some songs for the next Guns N' Roses album, Axl wasn't interested.
I started recording just my sort of style of writing. And I played some of the stuff for Axl, and he didn't seem to take to it too well. So I kept it. And I mean, it could have been Guns N' Roses material at the time if he'd been really into it, but that wasn't the musical direction that he wanted to go in. Axl, at some point, decided that he wanted certain songs back, and the album was already finished by that point, and that sort of was a shock to him that it was done so quickly, you know. And then he was like, "Well, I want those songs back," and I was like, "No, it's too late; they're gone." And so we've you know, come to terms with that at this point, but there was a little bit of friction there for a while.
The more cynical of critics could suggest that some of the lyrics on It's 5 O'Clock Somewhere are directed at Axl and echo the relationship that John Lennon had with Paul McCartney in the early 70s after the Beatles had split up.
No, they're not directed towards Axl. They're more about relationships. I mean, Axl and I obviously have as close to as you can get to a marriage without being with the opposite sex, you know. But it has nothing to do with Axl.
Comparisons are also bound to be made between Eric Dover and Axl over their vocal style, but Eric is quick to distance himself from that.
I washed my hands of all that because I knew coming into the situation that there were going to be comparisons of my voice to Axl's and whatever, and all I did when I did my part was just to do what I do.
I think a lot of people, maybe because of my relationship with Guns N' Roses, have singled me out as going, well, it's supposed to be something important, which it isn't. It's really just a collaboration between the five of us. You know, there's no solo artist in this band, and it's not a solo record. It's a group effort, and it's a side project for every individual in the band.
And if you think Slash's Snakepit is just a studio project, forget it, as they intend to hit the road this spring.
We're going to tour starting in April through summer. We're going to play in clubs, get back to a certain level that I don't think Guns is really capable of at this point, and just have a really good time. I haven't had this particular type of feeling since the first night that Guns all got into one room, way before anybody knew who we were. And then way back to when I started playing guitar, and then you find a guy in school that plays another instrument, and you get together. You have no visions of grandeur as far as being a rock star is concerned. You just have a great time playing together, and then you meet somebody else, and next thing you know, you have 4 or 5 guys in one room, and that initial buzz, that's how this was. I still have my life at home, which is Guns, but I have these buddies around the corner that I can hang out with.